Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome. And tonight, my name is Segun. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight, we are discussing the major political issues that are happening in the country, and the first of it is Ambode and Tinubu. Ambode, the current Lagos State governor, is trying to crumble the dynasty of his political godfather, who anointed him when he wasn't known from anywhere politically. In 2014, leading into 2015. And as it stands right now, Ambode is currently the governor of Lagos State. Ambode came up to say he isn't cool with the decision to bring up somebody totally new altogether again. And he therefore wants to crumble that dynasty by saying he has rights and is going to exercise to the fullest that right to contest yet again, even though his political godfather refuses to give a nod to this. Well, we saw that yesterday Mr. Ambode decided to say whatever he's going to take this time, he's not going to give a shit, and he wants to do something. What is it he wants to do? Mr. Ambode wants to give total showdown. Well, we saw another video and then another report that Mr. Ambode has dropped his membership card of the All Progressive Congress with the Lagos State chairperson, and has become unreachable since then, refusing to answer all their calls because perhaps he's ready for total showdown with them. Well, Mr. Ambode has decided to start throwing tantrums at the new bride of the APC in Lagos State, Mr. GTBank Sanwo-Olu. Mr. Ambode has decided to throw tantrums, and not just that, has also decided that he is going to give a total showdown. We saw a clip that most of you probably have already seen, where Mr. Ambode is revealing that Sanwo-Olu is not just a criminal, but he is also somebody who is mentally unstable and shouldn't be trusted with such political portfolio or profile in office. See this video.
And the only way out for us is to continue to do that in the next 4 years. This particular aspirant, as you all know, you can go and check it, the records are there. This is somebody that has been arrested for spending fake American dollars in a nightclub in America. And he's been detained for months. And he knows that he has won mugshots for months before this whole thing was quenched. He's also known that he doesn't have the competence to do what he's being propelled to do. The records are there in Bagada General Hospital. This is somebody that has gone for rehabilitation before. We don't want to go too far, but we know, and we know. Now the truth is this: we don't want to talk about all the things that we know, but we know that our leadership should have a rethink. Because the truth is this: I will not stand here on the mandate of Lagosians and then allow our great party APC to fritter away down.
Well, I do not have a problem with what Mr. Ambode is saying. My only quarrel is that, or my only grouse is that, the person Mr. Ambode is actually revealing the criminal and mental health history, Mr. GTBank Sanwo-Olu, is equally currently a serving commissioner in his own administration. So if Mr. Ambode knows that Sanwo-Olu actually has such criminal record and also an antecedent of mental instability, is currently equally serving in your administration. Why did it take you so long to reveal that? And some people are also alleging conspiracy between Mr. Governor Ambode and the Bagada General Hospital for breaching privacy policy that is making Mr. Ambode have the audacity or the access to such record for him to put out. But my question is this the first time Governor Ambode is aware of such thing or such story or such record about Sanwo-Olu? All of them are equally, that's my own immediate verdict. I may not be correct, but all of them are equally guilty in this. Well, that aside, let us move on to the next thing. Meanwhile, the ANN, let's talk about the new generation politicians who are looking to take power in Lagos, in the country. Well, while we've talked about Olawoye, Mohalu, Durotoye, Ikubese, And then we've also talked about Tope Faswa, who was one of the first or foremost of the new generation aspirants to form a political party of his own and decided to run without joining any of the existing parties. We are now alarmed or alerted to something new. There's somebody new in the ANN. ANN is one of the new generation political parties registered to field, young, or so to say, new generation political activists. Well, the first person we knew with the ANN was Fela Durotoye, and it turned out that recently Mr. Fela Durotoye is, there was a twist in the story. It no longer was Fela Durotoye. The next story we started hearing was a new person altogether. Benga Olawoye Ashim. Am I correct with the arrangement? I'm sorry if I missed it. Well, it turned out that the two have been at loggerheads as to, because conflicting aspirations therefore came up. Well, my immediate reaction to that is, if these two people are actually running for a new Nigeria, why should we be having the same issue that happened with old politicians that we are looking to change? Why are these issues still repeating themselves even with new generation politicians? Well, little wonder some of them decided to go and form their own new parties so that they are not, they are not entangled in this same web of conflict or political crisis or aspiration or ambition interests that might be conflicting. Well, the story in ANN is that Mr. Ashim, or Benga Olawoye, as some people know him, was the first person to have been alleged that he was being sponsored by the PDP to come into ANN and destabilize Fela Durotoye. While that allegation was still lasting and that propaganda lasted enough to have made Mr. Benga suffer some backlash or some ill treatment by some political bigwigs, it then turned out that the table also had a twist at some point where Mr. Benga Olawoye's camp also began to throw some shades back at Mr. Fela Durotoye's camp. In the same party, ANN, Alliance for New Nigeria. So what happened? There was a convention, party primary which held on Saturday, that threw Mr. Fela Durotoye up as the presidential flag bearer of the ANN. Meanwhile, Mr. Ashim has refused to accept the outcome of that Saturday primary, saying that it defied and breached the constitutions of the party as to how a proper primary was supposed to be conducted. So he refused and he distanced himself from the outcome of that primary, saying that a new one has to be conducted, which simply means that the party has ripped into two factions. When a party rips into two factions, you know what happens. One convention already held, throwing up a flag bearer, they are now requesting for another one to happen to bring up another flag bearer. Mr. Ashim was not part of the last convention which held on Saturday, September 29th, because he believed that certain party constitutional provisions were breached, which affected the proper, institution of a convention that should give rise to a primary. So he said, as a result, he doesn't believe that primary properly held or a convention properly held. So he was not going to accept the outcome. Meanwhile, Mr. Durotoye is not going to participate in the new one that is going to happen this Wednesday, because another one has been announced for Wednesday. That is in less than 48 hours. Today is Monday, 1st of October. Another one is going to happen on Wednesday. This one, it is expected that Mr. Benga Ashim Olawoye is going to be thrown up as the new presidential flag bearer. My own expectation, because if he distanced himself from the old one, saying that it did not reflect the party's constitutional provisions that should give rise to proper primary, I do not expect Fela Durotoye to participate in the one that is now going to be thrown up altogether. I beg your pardon, I need to do something about this audio right now. Well, having said that, Mr. 1 minute. Okay, that's gone. So, Mr. Fela Durotoye and Mr. Gbenga Ashim have, conflicting interests which have thrown the parties into two now. Plug that for me. Which has thrown the party into two now. So the party has been ripped into two factions. The first faction held a convention, but that is not the gist. The gist is that as we speak right now, there are two factions in ANN. And what is the gist in that? There are allegations and reports online flying left, right, center that certain elements are sponsoring individuals, these two individuals. While one report is alleging that Durotoye is being sponsored by the APC to make sure that they railroad Ashim. Well, when I questioned and I queried some quarters who were flying this report, I was made to understand that Mr. Ashim, that is Gbenga Olawoye, has become the anointed candidate of some middle belt army generals who are goading him to become the president because they believe that APC has failed and is not going to be welcome in 2019. So, looking for a replacement, the middle belt generals are said to have anointed Mr. Gbenga Olawoye Ashim. I'm sorry if I'm missing the order because I know one has a fin that joins two names together. Well, let me use Olawoye to be safe. While that report is flying, claiming that they know that Ashim or Olawoye is going to have upper hand, another report is equally flying that Professor Yemi Osinbajo is also sponsoring Fela Durotoye to railroad him, that is to railroad Olawoye. Another account has that Olawoye is equally being sponsored by the PDP to hijack the party ANN. Who is therefore sponsoring Olawoye? Some quarters are saying the present incumbent Senate President, Mr. Bukola Saraki, is paying Olawoye to make sure that he captures the party and return the party to PDP. That is one account, that Saraki is paying or is funding or bankrolling or buffeting Olawoye's ambition to hijack ANN and take the party structure, capture it, and give it to PDP to join the CUPP for 2019. That is one account. The other account is that Osinbajo, the Vice President of Nigeria, is sponsoring Fela Durotoye to make sure that they railroad or they crumble or terminate or stop the ambition of Olawoye in ANN. At the end of the day, the two of them became big fishes on the same platform, which has therefore ripped the party into two. The faction supporting Fela Durotoye and the faction supporting Olawoye. Now, what is the other story or other sides to this story? There is the son of Pastor E.E. Adeboye, who is another big fish, who was said to have convinced Ashim or Olawoye to support the incumbent national chairman, Pastor Daniel, who is also a pastor at the RCCG, Redeemed Christian Church of God, to become the national chairman. Daniel became national chairman of the party on the support of Olawoye. Well, according to why I asked, why do you think Olawoye supported Daniel to become national chairman? Is it not because he believed that Daniel would do his own bidding? Because politics is always like that. Then the response I got is that no, it is because Daniel, in fact, I was told at the meeting held in Dubai between Daniel and Olawoye. Then Olawoye decided to support Daniel to become national chairman because he believed, being a pastor, number one, and number two, that because he's a pastor and that after all of them are said to be progressives, Pastor Adeboye's son the general overseer of the RCCG's son, sold Dania to Hashim to support him to become national chairman, that it is in line with the progressive vision. He supported Pastor Adeboye's son. And then after Pastor Adeboye's son became the national chairman of the party, it then turned out that Pastor Dania was actually sent to do the bidding of Durotoye, which would therefore return the vision or the mission or the aspiration of Professor Simbajo, who is sponsoring Durotoye, to come to stay. I don't know if I did the analysis very well for everybody to understand, but that is the gist I got. Well, let me give you a clip from what happened after the party primary that was organized on Saturday. And this is Fela Durotoye celebrating his own victory as the presidential flag bearer of ENN. Well, that was Fela Durotoye celebrating his own victory at the ENN. Meanwhile, the Hashim camp is seriously believing that that was a make-up. It was not a primary. By the way, Olawoye got 7 votes in absentia at that party primary. Funny, right? He wasn't there. He pulled out already from that primary, saying that that was not a proper primary and it is not something that the constitution of the party recognizes, and therefore the outcome cannot stand. As a result, they have gone ahead to announce a new party primary. But there's another intrigue to it, and the intrigue is that they are alleging that the national chairman of the party, that is Pastor Dania, is in collusion with Fela Durotoye. And then they sent a clip to me by way of trying to corroborate this.
Bosa! 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 Bosa!
Update and move on to the next thing that I have. Let's start with the comment. How you doing, Shege? It's good to see you again. My pleasure, Moses Abi. My people, I've missed you too. And I'm sure you understand why I've not been online for so long. I will explain some things to you, but I don't want to explain because a lot of people might think, oh, this guy has come again, trying to give us some story about internet problems. Well, I didn't know that I already exhausted last night I came online. Some of you will notice I came online last night hoping that I was already online, not knowing that I had exhausted my subscription. Like I explained to some of you who decided to support, that it cost me 19,800 naira, 20,000 naira to recharge every time I come online. I mean, most times that I recharge my data bundle on Smile. But I didn't know that they had cut the unlimited subscription to 80 gig. So most of the times when I come online, I'll realize that by the time I do 3 shows, my data is off and I'll have to go and recharge again. I did not know, as a matter of fact, that as of last night when I was online, the data was already exhausted. So I thought I was speaking with people until now. I was going to display live comments and I saw that it was only 2 people that joined. It was only about 3 or 4 comments from the start of the show saying hi, and that was all. When I played the video back and I saw that, oh man, the video had stopped from how many seconds? And I was wasting my time here thinking that I was talking to people. I didn't know that my data was already exhausted. So, like I said, I recharge almost 4 or 5 times a month just to come online. So as a result, I'm not going to be staying long on this show anymore, because I don't want to be begging people for money to support my show. I'm not making money here. I'm just trying to do my own bit in the B2C, a new Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me position myself properly so I can read more comments here. Yes, Christian Odweme, I just explained what happened yesterday. I came online thinking that I was online. I didn't know that my internet bundle was already exhausted. I saw signal that I was not streaming at full length. I thought it was probably temporary network issue. I didn't know that my internet data was already exhausted. I'm sorry about that. It's not deliberate. Let's continue. Stephen, hi. I've missed you people. Honestly, I've missed you people. I'm making all efforts to see that this show continues and continues to give me all that I want, as far as all of you also have desires and aspirations to see a new Nigeria. It's same here, all right? When would Nigerians in diaspora be able to vote, and would they ever... I think we have addressed this. Maxwell Shodipo, I think we have addressed this matter so many times already, trying to explain that as we speak right now, there are no provisions to make Nigerians in diaspora vote, perhaps for deliberate reasons by the ruling class. Kayo Midi Emmanuel, all of them are the same. It's Shore we want. I'm not partisan, and I'm trying to avoid being eroded. All right. AAC action. Thank you, Mr. Sulaimon. Don't start, Abi. I think I had enough break from you people already. You have started again. I'm not in AAC. Moses Abi say, yeah, take it back. I'm going to begin to sieve comments. Valnesto, I must say, Oga, make una take it back. Okay? Moses Abi, no choice. Israel Quadio, say, bonjour, mon frère. Can you tell me that in English language? I do not understand. Okay, FCS, a great show, but you repeat yourself a lot of times and waste precious time saying the same thing rather than addressing more points. Your message sometimes can be articulated in fewer minutes. Yes, I agree with you. It's because some people join late and they'll be asking, oh, what did you say about this person? What did you not say about... Some people just listen in passing. They don't listen to the details. And as a result, they tend to end up with the wrong impressions at the end of the whole analysis. That's why in analysis, I try to emphasize the important points. But what I discussed tonight in summary again is that there's crisis in the ENN, the party where Durotoye is coming to become the flag bearer, or wants to become a candidate for presidency in 2019. And I showed you clips where Durotoye himself already became the flag bearer according to a convention I held Saturday, where Durotoye functional primary convention as we speak. All right, because there's going to be another convention. I'm waiting for that on Wednesday. I want to see the outcome of Wednesday party primary, because I expect that to also throw up another candidate or another aspirant altogether. Well, Atiku is the best candidate. You don't see waiting at the fight now. You don't see them. Atiku is the best candidate. Can we drive Buhari out of that place? And I believe he will perform very well. Okay, full gospel. That's according to... I'm not the person who said that. That was Tope Kuteyi. Say Atiku is the best candidate. All right, everybody has opinion. Segun Ajolasi Shege, watching you live from UK. Well done. Thank you so much. Let me see. What is this person saying? The font is not exactly what I understand. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, like I promised already, the show is going to be a very brief one tonight because I'm still traveling out of one state to another. I like driving at night because the road will be very free. So thank you so much. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, where I'm going to bring you yet another exclusive package talking about those that are running for presidency, their ambitions, their aspirations, their promises, their manifesto, and the intrigues happening around them, especially in their respective political parties. Well, I'm waiting for the outcome of Wednesday factional convention of the ENN. I learned also that some ESCOs have been sacked, especially that national chairman of the ANN, Mr. Pastor Dania. All right, I learned that he has been sacked from the party and is not going to be the party chairperson going forward because of the things that have happened so far. He was caught romancing with Fela Durotoye, and then he was believed to be working for Fela Durotoye, and that Fela Durotoye has been paid by Professor Yemi Osinbajo to railroad Olawoye. Olawoye's camp is equally alleging that's the allegation according to Olawoye, alleging that Fela Durotoye has been paid to do that to him and to shatter the dreams of the party. Fela Durotoye's camp is equally alleging that Olawoye is being paid by PDP and Saraki especially to crumble the mission of the party. Well, as it were, Olawoye's major war chest is that the Middle Belt Army generals have already endorsed him, according to what I heard from sources, that he has been elected by the Middle Belt Army generals to be their representative to replace President Muhammadu Buhari. So they asked him to go and look for a new platform, and he joined ANN. Meanwhile, Olawoye is accused of having so much money and is throwing around, sponsoring the party, trying to hijack it. Durotoye is also said to be sponsored by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. I'm making this emphasis so that we all understand the scoop. I don't just want to come online and say some shit and go. No, I want you to get the scoop. Okay? So, allegations and counter-allegations, all of them are saying what they are saying. And that is where we are right now as far as ANN is concerned. Meanwhile, there's another beef. I read on social media today. I went on Instagram to see what is the latest about some of these aspirants. And I saw that a female presidential aspirant, Eunice Atuejide, seemed to have left her own ambition to be supporting Fela Durotoye. I don't know whether she wants to leave her own party, NIP, to join the ANN and support Durotoye. But so far as her refusal to continue her own campaign is concerned, she is currently supporting Durotoye in his own party. That's what I can say that I've noticed so far. She has not continued with her own campaign. She's supporting Durotoye with all her posts. But something funny, by way of, on a lighter note, by way of, by way of comic interlude, is that somebody asked, somebody commented on the post, the last post she did on Fela Durotoye, supporting Fela Durotoye, that, oh, how about you support Olawoye Sowore and join AAC? Funny comment, I'm going to screenshot that and let all of you see it maybe tomorrow when I come on the show. It's just a teaser ahead of tomorrow. Then Eunice Atuejide replied that person and said, I'd rather vote a dog than vote Olawoye Sowore. Do not forget the intrigue that happened between Sowore and Eunice. Eunice alleged that Olawoye Sowore really disappointed her because she spent a lot of time running after Sowore and the rest, believing also along with them that they would support, they would want a new Nigeria, but that she became disappointed that Olawoye Sowore, whereas giving her impression that he was coming to announce her own party, NIP, as the party Sowore would run on June 12th. Sowore was expected to announce on June 12th that NIP is the party he would run on. But it turned out that Sowore said he was no longer going to announce the party. Whereas Sowore was, according to her, Sowore was working on his own party while deceiving her that they were together in NIP. So as a result, she grew hatred for Sowore, and that is our own explanation for why she currently hates Sowore, believing that Sowore is not a straightforward person. Why would you tell me that we are working together on the same party and I was already giving everything that you need to you to support you on that platform, and suddenly you turned around to say, oh, you already were forming your own party, and then you announced it suddenly? Well, Showore's explanation to it was that he already saw it coming that that party was going to join a coalition of PDPs and the rest of them, and he couldn't continue with them. He had to go and form his own party because he felt that if he uses somebody else's party, that he already has a tip that that party was going to join the CUPP, that it would turn out that it would be railroaded and it would be running helter-skelter like some other young presidential aspirants who are at the mercy of existing parties are doing right now. Well, allegations and counter-allegations. There are intrigues, there are interesting parts of stories to this new generation aspirants. There are so many exciting things about them as we all journey towards 2019 together. My name is Segun once again. Thank you all for coming on tonight. I'm going to see you again tomorrow, hopefully. Mwah. Peace out. My name is Segun once again. Until I come your way again tomorrow, keep talking about the things that matter.